Welcome to the Beyond Business as Usual interview series. My name is Philippe Dubreuil. I am your host, and today I am joined by Danelle, who is the owner of, how do you say? I just wanted to make sure I say your business properly. What is the name of your business?
The name of our business is Total Recall Inc.
Total Recall Inc. Okay,
hmm
good. And I'm really excited about talking to you about this and finding more about your journey, the milestones you've had, the challenge you had to overcome, as well as to know a little bit about Total Recall Inc. What is this all about, and how you help make this world a better place through your company. All
Okay.
right. So let's just kick it off. A little bit about yourself, Danelle, and your journey, as well as what is Total Recall Inc. The
Okay.
floor is yours.
All right. Well, Total Recall Inc. is a educational technology company. At least that's how we started out. The reason our actual name is Total Recall Inc. is because um, my husband, who did a lot of the development, we were working on two solutions at the same time. One was a backup solution, and one was the student network account solution. And we got a customer first for the student account solution. So we kind of veered off into that direction. And so our underlying products underneath that, accountability, web warden, web tracker, um, connectability, basically was an automation suite that connects student information systems directly with administrative systems like Active Directory and Novell at the time. We started 20 years ago. We
Wow.
had our 20th anniversary in 2024. So that was pretty exciting. Um, so kind of the backstory a little bit is that my husband and I met working at the school district, and he was the network administrator, and I was the office administrator for the middle school. And so we had some connecting issues with I did all the registration and set all that stuff up, and he was on the network side creating accounts on the other side, and he created this program to automate that process, and then we grew that into Total Recall Inc. We both left the school district and started our own company. We got married, and so we always say that Total Recall is our baby. We had two kids each when we got married, and Total Recall was our baby for our marriage.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, and so we started out, with this idea to be able to help schools this process as more and more students and more schools, they had computer labs.
Right.
So computer lab situations where students were going in, logging in anonymously. So when people would be going all over the internet or downloading things they weren't supposed to or doing, nefarious acts on school computers, there was no way for the school districts to track those actions.
Oh,
So
really? Yeah.
yes, so
I guess 10 years
accountability
ago, yeah.
connected students to their own identifier across the whole entire school district. So if my student was to log in either at a school or in the library or at another school, the administrators connected to that student could see that activity. Okay.
Nice.
So as accountability grew, it started with those core accounts to automate that for all of the school districts so that anytime any student logged in, they were trackable on the admin side. The web tracker came along, so we added modules as we saw different needs for the different aspects, could actually let the teachers themselves track individual students connected to their classrooms. So it created class groups and setups. And the web tracker was kind of like prehistoric Zoom classes where the teachers and the students can actually connect to each other or submit homework from home. So we had a digital locker system. We have a system that we could track their usage wherever they were in the building and even shut it down. So if a teacher from their desktop could see that a student logged in somewhere and they weren't supposed to, they could lock them out,
Boom.
set printing parameters. So really a management system for the school district on their own network tied through our system to their network to do everything automatically. So if somebody moved from one class to another, the next morning they're into the new student's class or new teacher's class. So it was pretty ahead of its time. That's one of the things that we have found through all of our products that we're usually on the cutting edge, and it's very hard for a little company to sneak in there and get market share.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And um, so basically, you're making life easier for teachers and administrators.
A lot of
Uh,
it's the technology departments in schools, especially during lockdowns and things like that, where kids, all the laptops, the school district sent out all these laptops, and every kid needed their own logins. So without that kept us pretty busy trying to get those set up for everyone, for all of the school districts across the country that use our software. Um, and so, yeah, really, because if you can imagine somebody having to hand enter hundreds or thousands of students to create accounts, and then, oh, Johnny moved, Susie got a new email address,
Dr.
this teacher
Boomer,
got married and changed her last name. So it was an extremely cumbersome process that we made to run overnight.
really? Yeah. So basically, it just like scripts and stuff, and it's just like it just updates itself, and at this point, I assume you just have to maintain all of this.
Right.
That's your husband's job, right? To deal with that. He's a
I
techie.
do. I do a lot of yeah, I do a lot of the marketing aspects, the financial aspects, working with our financial advisors and the tax side of things, as well as customer support on the billing and financial side, and as well as teaching them about what do our products do, and that sort of thing. I'm also my other job, which I do on the side, is I actually am a family educator for our local hospital systems. And so
Oh,
I teach childbirth education classes on nights and weekends, which I do for fun. And I've done that myself as another small business as well. I think that's one thing about entrepreneurs is we're always busy, never idle.
that's totally true. I mean, again, it's interesting because you mentioned that is it's almost like we have a nose for there's an opportunity, right? And then you go like, I can help somebody with this. There's a need that I can fill, right? And then you just jump on it and then you just feel that need. It's amazing to see what you've done. Now, I got a question for you. Okay, so as you grew, I mean, again, you started 20 years ago. I assume it was just you and your husband kind of like working this out and making this work, right?
Yep.
Um, how many staff do you have, if you don't mind me asking right now? What's your personnel load right now?
It kind of varies from actually 0 to like 10 because the majority of the work that we do is remote.
Okay.
So when we started our company originally, we actually went to our first trade show. That's how we got like our foot in the door. We went to an educational trade show and we convinced someone that it was a great idea. But the back end wasn't even totally, totally buttoned up. So we went there to that school district and did a local install to make sure everything went smoothly. And then our second customer was like, "Do you have any customers?" And we're like, "We do." And we sent them a reference from this customer, and they said, "Yeah, we love it. It's awesome." And so we went to that location. And then by the third or fourth one, we were able to kind of start doing that remote thing. So that's one thing that's been really fabulous for our business is we've always been able to have a very small footprint as well as um, do a lot of work or have people that work for us can do that remotely. So we haven't had to support, we don't have a lot of overhead, I guess. We used to send out CDs and we used to mail out booklets and things, and now it's all digital.
On the cloud, right? It's all in the cloud nowadays, I assume.
Yeah.
Um, okay, now this is great. So now obviously there's some projects and you need some specific skill sets for various things, and you need people working with you to work with you to put their shoulders to the wheel as the volume increases, I'm sure. Now, how do you find the right team member? How do you go about selecting the right person for the team or for the project you want to run?
Um, we have a lot of connections through just the things that we've done, like through the school districts, the different tech people that we know, and things like that. So a lot of times what we do is we reach out to our people that we are familiar with, and then get recommendations from those people because there's a big network of people that work throughout. So like being a network administrator, my husband's also big into cybersecurity, and done other projects with other people at different school districts across the country because of the nature of this work, as well as one of our employees was actually our son. He has a master's in mathematics, and he went through college. He worked for our company when he was in high school, and we paid him minimum wage, and he learned like a ton. So when he went to school, now he works. I guess I can't tell who he works for, but he works for a big company, making big bucks doing doing the same kind of work. So, if we do need a specific thing that is not within our network, then we'll put it out to one of the usual places and search that way. But we really try to connect individually and not be one of those run it through you know pick out these words or pick out that. Individual connection is really important to us.
It is, and I would agree with you, Danelle, 100%. Look, I mean, you're as strong as the team you make, right? And to choose the right person for the job, you need to have that connection. It's interesting because I was reading a survey before from maybe it's last year or something like this. Post or feel like it's 73 or 76% of posts that or feel that stays and retain is from a referral from somebody that you know, right?
Networking is critical.
It really is, Now, I always ask this question during the podcast. I want to know what are the core values on which you and your husband have built Total Recall Inc. What are your core values?
Our core values, I would say, are, well, accountability is one because that's why we created this software in the first place, that transparency um, is critical to understand like where people are coming from, where your information is coming from, as well as that education is important, right? We need to support education. Education is the backbone of a good, strong society.
It really
Um,
is.
as well as the value of people having privacy and safety online. And so those are kind of the things that we built our company around, and providing that in a way that is sustainable, affordable, and accessible for school districts who don't always have the funding that private companies have. And we have prided ourselves on being very fairly priced, almost to our own detriment. We realized, coming out of as the ups and downs of the different things over the last 20 years, that sometimes, we have put education first of above ourselves, and it's not a bad thing. But in the end, as prices really in the last 2 years have, everything seems to have doubled, that we've had to, kind of at least put out some, incremental increases to be able to keep doing what we do.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because, it rings true for me what you're saying, right? When you have a passion for what you do, which you come across as being very passionate for that, wanting to help and the whole educational aspect of it. I'm an educator. I'm an educator myself. It's in our DNA, and at one point it becomes like, okay, so yeah, the money is important because you have to survive. But really, what gives sense to what we do is what we bring to people and the changes we've made and the impact we can have, and I think that Total Recall Inc. is doing a great job of, getting people out of the administrative thing so they can concentrate on teaching
Right.
kids and make sure the kid gets it and make sure they succeed. Because when you do that, then you've got a healthy society, like you said. It's a beautiful thing. Super happy to hear that. This is great. Um, Another question for you. In terms of challenges, what do you find business owners or entrepreneurs, what do you find are the biggest challenges they face nowadays as they try to expand and grow their companies?
I think it is the networking, it is the connection, it's finding um, other businesses that actually will listen to you. We found kind of, it's interesting with Total Recall, a lot of our customers, our customers of Google, our customers of other companies, and if they have a problem, they usually call us because we answer the phone and we help them fix their problem. Where if they were to call Google or Microsoft, it's like, oh yeah, send you through the dial thing, even if it's not really our problem or we didn't cause the problem. And so that's a challenge. Another challenge is, as we have produced new products, We're actually working on a very big product. We just created a patent or got a patent for a new thing that we're working on, and which we're super excited about, and it's really necessary. It's called the Content Validation Network, which is another identity management solution that is for digital media or putting stuff out onto the internet as a it's an identifier, so a cryptographic identification, so that you know who is posting information and protecting content. So that being said, we all understand that that's critically important in this misinformation age, but trying to get your foot in the door to talk to someone that's a Google or a Global Sign or a DocuSign or something like that is extremely challenging. And so we've tried to go through LinkedIn and different avenues, but opening doors, I think, for entrepreneurs is one of the biggest challenges. To You could have all the beautiful ideas and marketing things in the entire world, but if nobody will listen to you or have a conversation, it makes it very hard to put yourself out there, especially if you're not you know have tons of finances. And then on the flip side, if you go out and try to get investment in your company, they want you to be a billionaire company or a tens of $1 million company, not a hundreds of thousands of dollar company, regardless of the fact that you've sustained all of this for 20 years.
Of longevity. I mean, it's like this is, usually, I mean, the statistics are pretty grim for business owners, right? For startups and stuff. I mean, people when you pass the 5 year mark, okay, good. Now you've almost gotten out of the danger zone. I mean, you always have to create it, but the fact that you've been around for 20 years. It's commendable, right? But I agree with you. And again, investors won't look at you. You need to be successful in order to get the investment, in order to be successful at times.
And I think
Correct.
the definition of success, it really varies, and for us, as I told you, my husband and I got married and we had two kids each. So raising a family, owning our home, owning our business, owning no debt, different things like that. That's a success. And I think that we have kind of that mom and pop idea of small business has been kind of tossed out the window and not given the credit it deserves, for being able to, provide jobs. We're providing jobs. We've sent all of our kids through college. We have purchased our home. We have done all of these things through owning our own business, whether that's making us bajillions of dollars, that doesn't matter. We're successful.
I agree
Identify
with
your
you.
success.
Success is not about, I mean, it's not about it's about how much you have in your bank account. It's how much of an impact you've made. And people have it's funny because people will give you the different ideas of what success is based on their viewpoint, but what's your goal? What did you want to achieve? Well, it seems like you're there, and it seems you're keeping pushing it forward, and you're moving your business where you want it to go. And then now this is success. So well done. This is great.
Thank you.
Um,
I feel successful, and I hope that a lot of the things that we have created or that we have striven to create are to make those changes, and that's why we're super passionate about our content validation network software, and what it can do, because it could be a game changer for just so many aspects of, even for email, for businesses, for anybody online to be able to look right on there and go, oh, that's a valid person. That person, it's Philippe. I know that's Philippe because he has this identifier attached immediately. And then as we go through that process of adding that, people clicking on things that are verified, that'll push verified, truthful, or at least we know who the content creator is, ruling out AI and bots,
that was my question.
right off the bat.
Does that thing just like rules out AI and stuff like that?
Yes,
Interesting. So basically, that's kind of a because you see this sometimes, and you see these things, these posts, and you go like, "This is AI,"
right?
and you go like, "This is impossible that this person would have done that." And then that program would actually do that. It would tell
Exactly.
you that that's AI, that's not generated by a real person, it's not verified.
Right. And it also would protect what you put out. So if you post something, somebody can't copy and take it away from what you said without taking away the identifier. So if the identifier doesn't exist, they know that that didn't come directly from you.
That is needed and wanted.
I know. So if you know anybody that wants to talk to me, you can send them my way.
Might just talk about this. That might, yeah, again, I can, that's marketable. This is great. All right. So, I mean, I guess we talked a little bit about the future. I mean, I always end the podcast with, okay, so what's in the future for Danelle and Total Recall Inc.? What's in store for 2025 for you guys?
Well, we've been looking at expanding a branch and doing our content validation network also in Canada because of for different reasons, but also just they have a real big push for solutions for AI and things, and some technology programs and grants that are going on in Canada right now. So we're looking at that, and we're looking at expanding our footprint through the content validation network. And it's been hard. It's been a little slow. We've put out those feelers and tried to go out through LinkedIn and social media and different things like that. As a branch off is another identity management solution. But again, being on that cutting edge and people don't exactly understand it. So we're talking to the W3C consortium. We are putting some proposals for the RSA to try to present our information at the RSA conference in April and in their sandbox. So those are some ways that we're trying to put that out and get a little bit more attention for what we're doing. And like I said, we did get granted a patent, which is pretty amazing for a small company, a US patent. So we're excited about that. And we're expanding our patent as well to cover some different other avenues of how the product works. So that's kind of what is on tap for 2025. And we're super excited about that and would love to connect with other people that are of the like mindset that would want to partner with us to move that forward.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I'm Canadian. I'm calling you from Ontario, Canada.
Canada.
Just so you know, this is where I live. And yes, there is a lot of interest in Canada for this as well. Maybe after the podcast, you and I will talk. But hey, this is great. I'm excited for you guys. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, seems like you've done well. You've got a great future ahead of you. I can see the passion, the persistence, and all of this. This is all there. Thank you very much for sharing your journey, and
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
that's very well. You're very welcome. It was a pleasure. So, on this note, we reached the end of our podcast. So, I want to thank you, and for the listeners, for the people that are watching this podcast. Well, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of Beyond Business as Usual. Bye for now.